The car is jacked up and the wheels are off the ground. Firstly, as you are doing the back, don't forget to choke the front wheels. It's not doing anything yet because the car isn't rolling forwards. But put the choke in here. Always when you work on the back, put the choke at the front so the car doesn't roll
forwards. Now, obviously, undo your lug bolts or lug nuts and take off the wheel. Put the wheel underneath the car for extra safety. Even if you have a jack and jack stands, use the jack. And a socket. I have an impact socket from an impact gun to lift up just the arm. Not the shock absorber, but the arm to take off pressure from the shock absorber. That bolt, that lower bolt can rust really good in there. And if you don't have a strong enough impact gun, it will be pretty hard to remove. So make sure you lift up by the arm. I don't have a strong impact gun and I didn't buy a breaker bar yet. I need to do it the old-fashioned way, with my arms or with my leg. Of course, use WD-40, that will always save you with the rusty bolts and bolts that are near wheels, water, splashing. This side is the left side of the car. You need to push down. On the right side you need to pull up to undo the bolt. As you can see, my bolt is pretty rusted in there. So next time goes the leg. The good old leg. I don't have a breaker bar and my impact gun is so weak it couldn't undo it at all, that bolt. So as you can see, a little force with the feet, with the footsie, did everything good. Now undo the bolt till the end, so the shock absorber is free. There you go, the bolt is out. Now, if you want to remove the spring, you have to let your jack down. So the pressure is off from the spring, from the hub and everything else. So the spring is loosely there. Now, if you pull on the spring, it should wiggle a bit. You can use your leg force, just step a little bit on the brake rotor, front, face, and pull down. Then you can pull out the spring. Now the shock is free from the bottom. It's bolted on the top, so it go in your trunk or in the back of the car. There are two 13mm nuts. Get a socket and remove the 13mm nuts. Usually in the back there is interior in front, so you don't see any of this. So on the top you will see that there is 4 black pins you need to pull out, and all of that will come out in one piece. You don't need to separate the left side and the right side with the middle. You can take it all out as one unit. Save your time. Now, as you can see, the shock is gone. It's on the ground. That's where it belongs. Now bye bye the shock, and let's get the hardware what we need from the shock. Get an 18mm spanner and adjustable wrench and undo the top of the shock absorber. This is welded onto it, so you need the upper metal. This is bad, and this is what you need. You need to transfer that. Now there is the cap. And once you take this off, a ring will fall out. A washer. That's what you need from the old shock absorber. Now you can chuck the old shock absorber, but those three, keep them. Let's see if this shock absorber is still good. It should come up now by itself. It's not coming up, so it's dead. It's completely gone. It goes in the pile of bye-bye. This is the new shock absorber. So you can see it's shiny, it's new, and before you install new shock absorbers,
first it's really hard to press in and look at this. It has a boner. It raises. It raises. It raises. I need to do this 4 times. So the shock absorber gets on with it. So he has a good party. Now, like this, and don't give me a ball shot, please. You need to activate the shock absorber. And look, we have a new screw. How kind and how nice. So do this 4 or 5 times. So it's fully extended. Then give it another squeeze. Come on, bitch. Get in. Activate. I'm activating you. What a boner. What a boner. This is fully extended. And one more time. How you like that? Look at this. My boner. My boner. It's getting big. It's getting bigger. My boner is unstoppable. Oh, it finished, sorry. And one more. So this is the 5th time. Yep, it's getting harder to press in too.
after pumping up the shock absorber, put on the bump stop and the sleeve to protect your new shock absorber. Pull it down till it stops itself. Then put the washer on and the cap, but I like to clean stuff with metal brush, clean my stuff off from rust and everything else, so it's a little bit nicer, so it looks nicer. So I'll clean everything up to get rid of rust, dirt. Now I use 180 to sand off the rust from the washer. Just to sand off the rust so it's a little bit smoother, it looks a little bit better. There you go, that's a little bit better. Now take your shock absorber, put the washer first. There is always a washer, if there isn't, you need one. Then put the cap, which protects the bump stop. Then you need a new hat, which bolts onto the top, and the hat should have an seal too. And then the top one. Remember how this setup goes, because if you forget, it can be pretty dangerously if you put it other way around. You can make your new shock absorber prematurely wear out faster than it should, and use the new nut what comes with the shock absorber. Don't use the old one. If you put your washer or your cap other way around, now this bolt is smaller, so now use the 17 and adjustable spanner and tighten it up. it needs to be tightened up to 14 Newton meters. So pretty tight. Make sure it's tight. As you can see, it's tight, and give an extra one. When you gave an extra one, your shock absorber is ready to be installed. So you can see everything is new, everything is ready, and everything is good to go. Don't forget about the seal and check if the old seal isn't up there stuck. My one was, but I didn't show on camera. And the new spring. You need to remove the top and the bottom rubber parts from your old springs. This is pretty in there, so just pull it hard. But yeah, be careful because the spring can bounce and injure you. So bye bye old spring. I usually like to clean my stuff so they look a little bit cleaner. There's the top and there's the bottom one. The top one is the one with the hole. And in these springs, it doesn't matter which way it goes. The spring is exactly the same. So put them in and make sure they go till the very end. You will be able to see and feel that it's at the very end. There you go, this is a finished spring. Now how to install the spring, you can use the jack how other people do. But I usually, with the hole is on the top, and without the hole, it's on the bottom. Now use your leg how I do it here and slide it in there. So you can see from the side, I'm just using my leg to move it in there and just wiggle it inside. Give it a double wiggle to make sure it's in there and then celebrate because you're done. After that, don't forget to clean your brake rotor. And now the shock absorber. But first, you don't tighten it up at the top, you do it at the bottom. Now put it in from below so that you can see the two studs from the top, and now you need to jack up the bottom again to align the bottom of the shock absorber with the arm. By jacking up the bottom to the hole, you'll be able to hold the shock absorber at the car body without it falling out or falling away. Put the bolt in there and then slowly jack up the hub from the arm or what it is. Jack it up slowly until the screw and the shock fits. Then tighten up by hand. If you guys wonder what's that plate, why there isn't a hole but a plate, that plate is to protect the bolt being rust welded together. So the plate always looks inwards, not outwards. And with the torque setting, you need 100 Newton meters to tighten it up. So use a torque wrench and tighten it up to 100. You tighten it pretty strong, so make sure you have it right and double check so it clicks. Now you need to tighten up the top, so jack up the arm so the shock goes in the trunk. So you can tighten the 13mm nuts. Here many people tighten up to 22 Newton meters and some to 30. I did 25 Newton meters here with the torque wrench. And this exact procedure is the same on the other side. is just at the very first bolt, at the bottom bolt of the shock absorber. Now you need to pull up, not down. Now you can let your jack down, and there you go. You have changed your shock absorber and your spring. Double check everything, so you tightened everything. That's tightened, done, and this is all done. Now clean your brake rotor if there is something dirty, and don't spray on the brake pads because they will get ruined. Clean everything off with a clean towel. And then you can put back the wheel, which you had under the car for extra safety. Put the wheel back and on you go. Obviously, other side is exactly the same, but only the lower bolt. You need to undo it upwards.
Do you remember the chalk I put at the front? Look, I cannot remove it anymore. See, it's stuck in there. Because once you set the car down at the back, it rolls forward. So this stops rolling the car away. Once if you... need to change the seats. Just pull it off a little bit. And handbrake on. Awesome. By the way, massive thank you to BMW who actually care about people, because they put choke at the back here